Mike Davis. He's the founder and president of the Article 3 Project and a former chief counsel for nominations to Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley. Mike, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Things have really reached another level, haven't they?
Yeah, this is disgusting. It's despicable, and it's actually a crime what they're doing. It violates federal law for people to show up to a federal judge's home to harass and intimidate that judge and their family on a pending case. That's obstruction of justice under 18 U.S.C. 1507. It's also a federal crime to deface or damage church property and to intimidate worshipers at church, like these left-wing lunatics are doing at Catholic churches. That's 18 U.S.C. 247.
Yes.
And so I put this squarely on Attorney General Merrick Garland. Where the hell is he? Why is he not enforcing these laws? Why is he not ordering the U.S. attorneys and the FBI to enforce these laws? He is putting Supreme Court justices' lives in danger, and he's a former federal judge, so he should know better than this.
Yeah. I'm reading some the two laws that you're referencing, these federal laws, 18 U.S.C. 1507. It is a federal crime to protest near a residence occupied by a judge or jury with the intent to influence their decisions in pending cases. That's exactly this. This is a pending case, and those protesters, those agitators are showing up with the express intent of trying to influence these justices. Additionally, 18 U.S. Code Section 247 involving the churches involves obstruction of persons in their free exercise of religious beliefs, that is illegal, and certainly disrupting a Catholic Mass and making it so that it cannot move forward while you protest. That sounds like obstruction to me.
It is. And where is Vanita Gupta, the Associate Attorney General? Where is Kristen Clark, the head of the Civil Rights Division at the Justice Department? Where is Lisa Monaco, the Deputy Attorney General? Where is Chris Wray, the FBI Director? Where are these U.S. attorneys around the country where this is happening? This is a blatant civil rights violation. You're attacking Catholic churches and Catholic parishioners on Mother's Day at church. And this is just completely unacceptable, and it's completely unacceptable that these lunatics are getting amnesty out of the Biden Justice Department, and Attorney General Merrick Garland is a disgrace for letting this happen.
Meanwhile, the leaders of the Democrats are endorsing this, although the White House offered some panicked, tepid condemnation of violence generically this morning. Nancy Pelosi on Face the Nation Sunday had this to say about what the left is trying to do, and it goes right to the point you're making, which is influence these justices into compliance. Here's Nancy Pelosi.
The focus we have right now is an urgent one in order to try to improve this, what we're calling it, fake or draft decision, whatever it is. I think that this is a waste of time. The fact is, in 2009, we really did not have a pro-choice Democratic Party.
Okay, and then she was explaining, and then they recruited enough people who don't like babies, and now they are pro-abortion as a party more wholly now. But that said, Mike Davis, that's Nancy Pelosi saying outright that the public pressure campaign is designed to influence the justices.
Which they're not.
Oh, that was the sound of our phone call collapsing. We're going to try and reconnect here with Mike Davis. But again, Pelosi, it's like, normally these politicians can think of more clever ways to dress up their intimidation campaigns. Nancy Pelosi is not even hiding it. She's just blabbering straight through her dentures that, yes, we are intimidating the justices. That this is about improving the Supreme Court decision? What does that mean?
The focus we have right now is an urgent one in order to try to improve this, what we're calling it, fake or draft decision.
Okay, so explicitly trying to browbeat these justices into submission through intimidating tactics. They show up outside the home of Brett Kavanaugh. There are people who came from out of town to do that. One of Kavanaugh's own neighbors, allegedly, according to the Washington Post, although we don't get details on her home address, was a part of organizing this effort against Kavanaugh as well. So again, you have people outside of these justices' homes trying to intimidate them, and we have these reports that some of these justices have been moved to undisclosed locations to include Sam Alito. Additionally, that they've upped the security presence to protect them, and that's for very real reasons. There are very real threats against these justices, again, who are just trying to do their jobs. Mike Davis back with us now. Mike, I played that audio of Nancy Pelosi for you saying outright, yes, we're trying to influence this decision through these intimidating behaviors. What do you make of that?
That's the very definition of obstruction of justice. These judges are lifetime appointed. They're pay protected. They don't answer to the Democrat process. That's not their job. It's the opposite. Their job is to ensure that there are equal rights before the law. They need to ensure, especially for minority rights, and you can't have mob rule. That is un-American. What they're demanding. They're demanding that judges cow to left-wing mobs and change their opinions. That's obstruction of justice. And Nancy Pelosi, she has no shame, but she should be ashamed of what she's advocating for.
Yeah, no question. In fact, Nancy Pelosi released a statement today in the form of a Dear Colleague letter that did not in any way condemn the threats of intimidation, the acts of intimidation, the violence at the pro-life centers in Wisconsin, none of that. She said, make no mistake, once Republicans have dispensed with precedent and privacy in overturning Roe, they will take aim at additional basic human rights. At this pivotal moment, the stakes for women and every American could not be higher. She goes on, while we have seen and heard extraordinary anguish in our communities, we have been moved by how so many have channeled their righteous anger into meaningful action, planning to march and mobilize to make their voices heard. Once again, an endorsement now of the chaos we saw this weekend, Mike.
This is insane, and I think that everyone needs to step back and understand what happens when you dox the home address as a federal judge. There was a federal judge in New Jersey who had someone show up to her house and kill her 20-year-old son and shoot and seriously wound her husband, who had to go through numerous surgeries. I think it was Judge Esther Salas in the District of New Jersey. This is very, very dangerous, even deadly, when you dox federal judges. And Justice Kavanaugh has a wife and daughters in that house, and this is very reckless and irresponsible what these people are doing, and that these politicians like President Biden, Speaker Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, who went to the Supreme Court steps over a year ago and said that they're going to release the whirlwind and they're not going to know what hit them. This is very, very dangerous rhetoric.
Yeah,
and they need to stop doing this.
No question. I mean, Chuck Schumer, what was he thinking when he did that? When you heard him, I mean, I get that people are partisan. I get like Chuck Schumer is trying to, advance well beyond the boundaries of what most of us would consider decent, his left-wing agenda. But that said, that leapt right into some very dangerous places when he stands there on the steps and he says that they're not going to know what hit them. What does that mean if not violence, if not threats of intimidation?
Yeah. So I clerked for Justice Gorsuch. I know these justices personally. This is unacceptable what they're doing. This is dangerous, and there needs to be. It's not going to happen when Democrats can control the Congress. But when Republicans take over the House and likely the Senate in January, they need to investigate this. And if there are people who are advocating for violence or condoning violence against federal judges, they need to be thrown out of Congress.
What is there's the Justice Department has various departments. You mentioned the Office of Civil Rights and Kristen Clark, and there's all this radio silence on defending the civil liberties of people who believe in life and who would be supportive of Roe v. Wade being overturned. The Justice Department not addressing that at all. But the Justice Department also has the Community Research Service. We're not. Sorry. What is the what the hell is it called? There's this they basically have activists within the Justice Department who deploy to assist left-wing activists routinely. But it's, what do you think the Justice Department is up to in all this?
Well, you just have to look at who's running the Justice Department. Remember Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry. They just announced they're going to spend $150 million in electoral dollars on this next election. They spend a heck of a lot more than that in dark money funding these groups. And Kristen Clark and Vanita Gupta were on the abortion industry's payroll before they went to the Justice Department, right? So they have a financial interest in ensuring that the Justice Department gives amnesty to these people who are threatening federal judges at their homes and threatening Catholics in their churches.
It's wild. By the way, the group I was thinking of within the Justice Department is called the Community Relations Service. That's what I was thinking. And they go into these communities in order to help activists on the ground. And they claim that they are, quote, America's peacemaker for communities in conflict by mediating disputes and enhancing community capacity to independently prevent and resolve future conflicts. Where the hell is this group now? What are they doing? And what's the Justice Department's involvement in any of this? They've just been stunningly silent.
Yeah, the U.S. attorneys need to step up here. There are line assistant United States attorneys who need to bring charges. And if there is political pressure from the Biden Justice Department to shut them down, they need to blow the whistle on them.
All right, Mike Davis, thank you for your time today. He's the founder and president of the Article 3 Project and a former chief counsel for nominations to Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley. Thank you, Mike. Good to have you with us, sir.